I'm pretty sure my new dorm mate is a vampire. And no, I'm not just saying that because he's pale, dresses in all black, and looks like he stepped out of a Gothic romance novel. Though, to be fair, he does all of those things. My name's Leo, and my life at uni just got a whole lot weirder. It all started last Tuesday. I came back from a late-night study session to find my room pitch black. My roommate, Julian, was just standing there, in the middle of the room. In complete darkness, I nearly jumped out of my skin. When I flicked on the lights, he flinched like I'd thrown holy water on him. He mumbled something about preferring a low-light environment, and then just sort of glided into his corner of the room. Weird, but hey, it's college. Everyone's a little strange, but then things got stranger. I'm a notoriously light sleeper, and I swear, I never once heard him sleep. Not a snore, not a sigh, not even the rustle of blankets. One night, I stayed up until 4 a.m. cramming for a midterm. I kept glancing over at his bed. It was perfectly made, completely untouched. He was just sitting at his desk, staring out the window at the moon. The entire night, he didn't even blink. The food situation is even more bizarre. Our dorm has a shared kitchen, and I see everyone else making instant noodles or reheating pizza. But Julian, never. I've never seen him eat a single thing. Not once. One time, I offered him a slice of my world-famous pepperoni pizza. He looked at it like it was a science experiment gone wrong. He just smiled politely and said, "Thank you, Leo, but I've already dined. Dined? Who says that?" I found a stash of what looked like blood bags in his mini fridge once, hidden behind a carton of oat milk. They were labeled with weird codes and symbols, all written in this elegant, spidery script. When I asked him about them, he just said it was a specialized liquid supplement for a rare medical condition. Right, a condition that requires you to drink crimson-colored goo. And he's strong, like, ridiculously strong. Last week, my desk drawer got stuck. I was yanking on it for a solid 5 minutes, making a huge racket, and getting nowhere. Julian just drifted over, barely touched the handle, and it slid open as smoothly as if it were brand new. He gave me this little half-smile, and went back to his side of the room. I was just standing there, my jaw on the floor. But the real clincher happened last night. We have this notoriously annoying bad problem in our building. One got into our room, flapping around like crazy. I was freaking out, trying to swat it with a textbook. Julian just stood up, held out his hand, and whispered something I couldn't understand. The bat stopped mid-flap, flew right over, and landed gently on his finger. He stroked its head for a second, then carried it over to the window and let it go. He turned back to me and said, "They're just misunderstood creatures." I think I just nodded numbly. Misunderstood. I was starting to think I was the one misunderstanding things. He also seems to know things he shouldn't. I was complaining about my history professor, Dr. Albright, and how impossible his essays were. Julian, who isn't even in my class, just casually mentioned, Professor Albright. His great-grandmother was quite the socialite in the 1890s, a fascinating woman. I was like, how could you possibly know that? He just shrugged and said he enjoyed historical trivia. It felt less like trivia and more like a personal memory. And the guy never goes out in the sun, ever. He schedules all his classes for the evening. If he has to go out during the day, he's wearing long sleeves, a huge hat, and sunglasses, even when it's overcast. People probably think he's some kind of fashion icon. I just think he's trying not to turn to dust. You know, for someone who might be an ancient, blood-drinking creature of the night, he's actually a pretty good roommate. He's quiet, incredibly tidy, and he never hogs the bathroom. Plus, he's kind of protective in a weird, silent way. The other day, this obnoxious guy from down the hall was giving me a hard time about borrowing my notes. Julian just happened to be walking by. He didn't say a word. He just looked at the guy. That's it, just one long, intense stare. The guy went pale, mumbled an apology, and practically ran away. It was awesome. So, here's my dilemma. Do I confront him? Do I ask, "Hey, Julian, random question, but are you a vampire?" That seems like a good way to end up as a specialized liquid supplement myself. Or do I just go with it? I mean, how many people can say their college roommate is a literal vampire? It's kind of a cool story. Maybe I should test my theory. I could casually leave a bunch of garlic bread on my desk. Or maybe start wearing a silver necklace. I could play a documentary about vampire bats really loudly and see how he reacts. Is that too obvious? Probably. The other night, I was struggling with a complex philosophy paper, completely stuck. Julian floated over and glanced at my screen. He pointed to a paragraph and said, "Your argument here would be stronger if you considered the existential dread of immortality. The weight of endless time can crush a soul, you see." He then proceeded to give me the most brilliant, insightful analysis I'd ever heard. I got an A+ on that paper. The professor wrote a note saying it was one of the most profound essays he'd read in years. Thanks, Julian. So, yeah, my roommate is a vampire. He's moody, mysterious, and probably a few centuries old. He drinks blood out of bags and can talk to bats. But he also helps me with my homework and keeps the bullies away. All things considered, I've had way worse roommates. I had a guy last year who clipped his toenails in bed. I'll take the vampire, thanks. I'm just going to have to make a few adjustments. Maybe I'll start keeping my window locked at night. And I'll definitely stop leaving my half-eaten sandwiches out. The last thing I want is to offend his refined palate. Living with a vampire is going to be an adventure, that's for sure. Wish me luck, and maybe don't invite me to any late-night parties. I might bring a +1 who really knows how to bite. Thanks for watching, and if you have any advice on how to vampire-proof a dorm room without being rude, drop it in the comments below. Catch you next time.